The Austrian painter that fought in World War I. The millionaire that owns an island. This nigga for fucking Washington residents. What do these guys have all in common? They're all evil. Now, imagine if the Austrian painter was 6'4", ran a 4'3", and had a 40-inch vertical. And that's what we'll be discussing today. All of the evil athletes from every generation.
He was just stepping out to the little party, and another night ended up with a body. Big booty bitch, way bigger than Mazzani. While he cool with the wood like design. Why I hit the top, go back.
Randall Woodfield, born December 26 in Salem, Oregon. He was raised in a middle-class family with his mom being a homemaker and his father was an executive at Pacific Northwest Bell. And surprisingly, by what you're gonna hear in this next few minutes, his childhood was pretty normal. He had a good family and his siblings treated him right from all accounts so far. But during junior high though, Woodfield showed some concerning behaviors, exposing himself in public in junior high, which, like, does this nigga just want no bitches or something? I don't know. And he was eventually arrested for exposing himself to a bunch of teenage girls. But something I believe played in the fact of what he became. His football coaches, knowing how athletic and how good he was, hid it from the rest of the school just so he could play on the high school football team. After high school, all his criminality was expunged from his record and he attended Treasure Valley Community College in Ontario, Oregon, and he played football there as a wide receiver. After balling out for a few years, he later transferred to Portland State University in 1970, where he played for the Portland State Vikings as a wide receiver. One of his football coaches recalled, "When he was with me, he was the nicest, most gentlemanly, kind kid I've ever knew. He was quiet and polite, hardworking, and real coachable." By that nigga means this nigga had a bunch of red flags, but he's a dog on the field, so we don't gotta talk about it for real. So Woodfield, when he was in college, he would have an interesting crime record, such as exposing himself, public indecency again, and vandalizing his girlfriend's apartment, his ex-girlfriend's. I get that for real. After his long college days of being alone but being a super athletic nigga, he was drafted with the 428th pick to the Green Bay Packers. Oh wait, this is a criminal video, ain't it? So yeah, this nigga's a serial killer, bro. So let's go to the first of his little crime spree. After being cut from the Packers and he was unsatisfied with how his football career went, he decided, shit, let's go rob some women and force some moral pecs on them. If you're catching my drift there. And he was eventually caught under a sting operation where they had female cops be these girls on the street. Yeah, this nigga only served 4 years, and it was brought down to second-degree robbery. After he was released in 1979, on October 9th, 1980, Sherry Lynn Ayers, an X-ray technician and former classmate of Woodfield, was raped and murdered in her apartment. I got no more to say. 1 month later, Woodfield arrived at North Portland home of Darcy Renee Fix, planning to, of course, assault her like this piece of shit would. Woodfield had known Fix during college as an ex-girlfriend of one of his buddies, and Douglas Keith was at this house as well. And when Woodfield got there and saw both of them, he decided to tie them up and kill them. After being done with his serial killer ventures for the moment, he decided to commit a series of robberies through the Pacific Northwest. And on December 9, 1980, Woodfield, wearing a fake beard, held up Vancouver, Washington gas station at gunpoint in Eugene, Oregon. A few nights later, he raided an ice cream parlor. Fat ass nigga. This piece of shit doesn't stop there, because after all of this, his little crime spree, he decided, fuck it, we want more. And he decided to hold a woman, a waitress, at gunpoint and make her him. And he even got a name, the I-5 Bandit. I-5 Bandit was eventually caught and put into jail, where he's serving a life sentence. He has told to kill up to 44 people. What a fucking piece of shit. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I need to prepare myself a little better for how dark these videos get sometimes, because I don't necessarily run the most serious channel. There's just no jokes to crack here, you feel me? I hear the cricket noise every time I think of a joke to crack about that situation I just talked about. A Green Bay Packer was a literal serial killer, bruh. That is some of the most insane shit ever. But rest in peace to all the victims. On to the next. Born and raised in Louisiana, Etienne was a self-proclaimed nerd growing up. He was a standout linebacker in his high school days, getting offers from LSU, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. But this was all derailed by a fucking 40-year prison sentence for armed robbery. While Etienne was in prison, he took up boxing, and he figured out at 290 pounds, he's damn good at knocking niggas on their ass. He won the prison boxing championship, so that means no one would fuck with him in the shower. He could chuck that, he could fucking Gronk spike that goddamn soap on the ground and no one's touching him. He was released after 10 years for good behavior though, not serving his full 40. He continued his boxing from prison into a new profession where he had a record of 29-4. He was named one of the most exciting fighters of the year in The Ring magazine, and he had an upgoing career until he suffered 2 losses, one to the hand of Iron Mike Tyson in the first round, and one to Frez. I'm not even gonna fucking try to say that. But sadly for this dude, his past would catch up to him. On August 11, 2005, it was reported Etienne Ring career was definitely over with the following story, and I quote, "Well-known heavyweight Clifford Etienne was arrested Wednesday in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on charges of armed robbery, kidnapping, and the attempted murder of a police officer. Etienne allegedly robbed a local business, carjacked a vehicle containing a woman and her children, then pulled a gun on police officers. Following his trial in 2006, he would serve 160 years in prison. He was guilty." Guys, lesson learned, don't go on a coke-fueled rampage and do stupid shit. It doesn't work out most of the time, okay? But on to the millennials. My next person is Sam Hurd. He attended Breckenridge High School in San Antonio, Texas, where he made All-American. He posted 60 receptions, 1,639 yards, and 23 touchdowns. Hurd was a reliable receiver in college, in his final year catching 1,074 yards and 13 touchdowns, second best in his school's history. But eventually, he was drafted to the NFL, where he had a 5-year career that was pretty successful. He was a pretty good special teams player. But the problem was, he wasn't a special teams player, he was a special drug dealer, nigga. This dude was trying to move large quantities of cocaine and marijuana, bro. He's Scarface of the NFL. But eventually, the feds got his ass, bro. But he ended up being found not guilty. So he just lived his life out in peace and never saw anything of this again. Except on August 9, 2012, Hurd was arrested again for violating his bond by failing 2 drug tests. On April 10, 2013, Hurd announced he would change his plea to guilty the following day. He faced a sentence of 10 years to life. Hey, moving drugs ain't that big of a deal. I don't care. In 2013, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison, but he did get out in 2023, and he was discharged from his sentence on February 23rd, 2023. But he is not the worst dude on this list. He's probably the best guy on this list, and that's fucking saying something too. It's really arguing who's better. Fucking, you got Walter White over here, and you got Richard Ramirez over here, you know. But with that being said, let's get to the best generation, y'all, Gen Z. Mikey Williams. Now, we all know this kid's come up. We all saw the highlights when we were kids and we were like, damn, this dude's up next. But for some reason, this nigga wanted to get out the hood and he wasn't even in the hood. This is a big problem with a lot of niggas out here. Mikey Williams, a former basketball star, he was connected with a shooting at his home, assault with a weapon, firing into an occupied vehicle, and making threats. Williams pleaded guilty to 1 felony count of making criminal threats and was sentenced to 1 year summary probation. The other 8 counts were dismissed. That's gonna wrap it up, y'all. My next video is gonna be probably a pretty big one. I'm gonna test out some 2K content in between. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I don't tell y'all this a lot, but drop a like, please subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.